Hello, today I'm going to show you how to enter live skills which appear in the green column of Table 2 of the Appendix G document. As you can see on my screen right now, I've got Table 2 of the Appendix G document up on my screen. This was handed out to you the first night of the paramedic program and was contained in your class folder. I've referenced this document many times, and it's very important because it contains the accreditation requirements that must be met for you to successfully complete our paramedic program. Today we are going to reference the green column. You notice that the green column, we have not talked about this much yet, but it says live application of individual skills. These isolated skills competencies need to be performed and evaluated on a live patient only. And we notice here that you have to complete 2 comprehensive normal physical assessments of the pediatric patient, 6 trauma physical assessments of the adult patient, 40 medical including cardiac physical assessments, 20 intravenous therapy skills, 2 IV medication administration skills, 4 12-lead ECG placements, and that's it for the green column. You may wonder, how do I get these skills? Well, the most common way to get them is in the clinical setting, but you have to enter the skills a specific way so that they reflect correctly in Platinum Planner. And today I'm going to show you how to do that. So first we're going to log into Platinum Planner. And you've done this multiple times before, so you'll utilize the credentials that you have utilized previously to access Platinum Planner and or emstesting.com. You'll do that by clicking on the login link at the top right of the page like you've done before, and you'll be directed to this dashboard that you see on my screen. Under the Platinum Planner section of the dashboard, you will click on the student role link on platinumplanner.com. Those of you that have attended clinicals already have done this role and or for your labs. That brings you to the student home page. And you will notice here that I'm logged in as a student. And you see labs are ready to be documented, but also opportunities are ready to be documented. Those that have attended clinical already have already maybe documented some of their opportunities, but some of you are just starting to do your clinical shifts and you may not have been in this screen yet. Today we're going to go into opportunities ready to be documented. And opportunities really are your clinical and or field shifts that you will do. This brings you to the Student My Opportunities screen. And you will see that I have an opportunity or a clinical shift that for yesterday that occurred from 0700 to 1900. And I'm going to click on the Actions tab on Begin Documentation. This brings you to the screen where you will document your clinical opportunity. The very first page that you'll notice that there are tabs down here, and this gives an overview of that opportunity as it was scheduled. So this I've named as Iowa Central Test Shift. The address was Iowa Central's main campus. It was scheduled to start yesterday at 0700 and end at 1900 for a total of 12 hours. And then it shows the actual start and actual end time, which in a moment here I'll show you how you can alter that, and the actual duration. It also shows when the due date is for documentation on this shift, what the category, so where it falls, it was an ER/ED shift, and your class name and a preceptor. Now, if the preceptor had been entered in already for this shift, then it would appear here. It also shows a map of where the shift occurred. We switch to the info screen, and this is where you must choose a preceptor. Now, there isn't a preceptor already set up for Iowa Central, so since there's not a preceptor in the drop-down menu, I can click over here to New and enter in the preceptor. And I will enter myself with my email address. Now, you would enter in the first name, last name, and an email address. If you don't have an email address for the preceptor, it is not the end of the world. You would just make one up, or if the preceptor is willing to give you their email address, that would be certainly great as well. And you see that I already appear as an existing preceptor, and so I select myself. Then here is where you can change the actual shift start and end times. So if I didn't arrive for this shift until 0800, I can change that to 0800. You notice that the actual duration now changes to 11 hours. And you should change your shift times if they differ from what was originally scheduled. More commonly, it's that you left later from the shift than what was initially scheduled. Make sure to take credit for the actual times that you were there. Once you've made your changes here, you can click on Save Changes up in the top right of the screen, or Save Changes in the bottom right of the box. Both do the same thing, and you notice it says your information has been saved. Now we move into the Patients tab, and this is where it's important for live skills. You notice that you have a couple of options. Here, you can add live skills, or you can add patients. The difference between these are, add live skills will give you fewer options, but it will correspond with that green column that I referenced in Appendix G. So the things that have to be entered as live skills for the initial attempts are these things that appear in the green column of Appendix G. So your first 2 comprehensive normal physical assessments of the pediatrics, your first 6 trauma physical assessments of the adult, your first 40 medical, including cardiac physical assessments, your first 20 IV therapies, your first 2 IV medication administrations, and your first 4 12-lead ECG placements. You'll notice that when I click on the Add Live Skill, it pulls up the time that skill was conducted, any notes, and then there's a drop-down menu of the live skills that I have been checked off for. You notice that there are padlocks here. If a padlock appears, that means that you have not completed the labs yet to do that skill. And we are in the process of completing some of these labs. So we have completed already the comprehensive normal physical assessment of the pediatric. We've completed, if you have them entered already, the intravenous therapy lab. That's what was conducted last night. We have also completed the trauma physical assessment of the adult. We will be completing the medical, including cardiac physical assessment within the next couple of weeks here, and we'll be completing the intravenous bolus medication administration this Thursday night. Right now, the only thing that I have been cleared to do is 12-lead ECG placements. So I click on 12-lead ECG placement and click Successful. Now, if I've done several 12-lead ECG placements for this particular shift as isolated skills, I can just click the button here to duplicate those. And now you notice that they appear on my screen as completed. If you've actually done any other skills on patients, or you've done skills, you've already taken credit for all of the skills in the green column for a particular one, then you can enter them under an actual patient. And here you would enter the gender, the patient type, their chief complaint, and then down here you can filter the skills by type of skill, or you can leave it as all skills and it will pull up all skills. Some skills can only be entered as isolated skills. For example, the comprehensive physical assessment of the pediatric patient only appears under live skills. But you notice that medical, including cardiac physical assessment, appears here. You'll notice that the IV bolus appears under this list, and the intravenous appears under this list. Once you enter in the age of your patient, you will get more skills. So if I say this is a 7-year-old, now I'm going to get more options. And you notice that I now can pick that this was an assessment of a school ager because the patient falls in the school age range. You also notice that it gives me the choice of assessment of a medical patient, pediatric. If this patient becomes 27 years old, now I get other options available to me. And I will get the option that my patient is an adult patient. You see trauma physical assessment of an adult here, trauma endotracheal intubation of an adult. So it recognizes that this is an adult patient, and so it gives me options for an adult. Assessment of the medical patient, adult, appears here. Once I've entered all my skills for this particular lab, then I can hit successful here and save, and you notice my skills are listed up here. Forms gives you the option of the different forms evaluations for that shift. Documents, here if you forget to take a clinical form to your shift, you can click on this and download a copy of the clinical form. And then finally, submit comes out. And this is when I submit the documentation for approval and audit. And I will do that right now. Once the shift has been sent for documentation or for submission for audit, then it is will be reviewed by Paul, and then once he's approved it, you will see the different reports. Currently, if you pull up the progress report for you under the Reports tab and run that report, you will see that I have 11 pending hours. That's because that shift has not been approved yet. You'll also see that I have one pending patient in the medical group. You see that I have a pending assessment of the medical patient adult. Once this shift's been approved, it will be over in the completed column. And here at the very bottom of the report, you see your live skills detail. So this is how you will know how many more IV skills you need to enter as a live skill, or how many more 12 leads you need to enter. They're in the pending column until they've been approved, and then they move over into the completed column. So hopefully this helps you in your documentation of your opportunities or clinical skills in Platinum Planner. If you have any further questions, please bring those to your instructor's attention during your next class.